there, YouTube? I'm back again today for another game review and a special Kickstarter review. And today I'm very excited to check out Born to Serve from Shoot Again Games. This is for 2 to 5 players. Take about an hour to play, and it's for ages 13 plus. And in Born to Serve, this is a game in which you are going to be a superhero, but your government funding has been cut. So now all the superheroes are going to the nearby restaurant to compete for the only available job, which is being a waiter or a waitress. The person who gets the most tips by the end of the day is going to be the winner of the game. It is a light, simple, area control worker placement game, but is it good? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Born to Serve. Before we get started, I do want to mention this is the promotional copy I have in front of me, so take everything you see here with a grain of salt. Obviously, yours is going to look fancier, prettier than this version. So first and foremost, we have a handy-dandy rule sheet. It's probably about 10, 11 pages, double-sided, full color. It's got pictures, illustrations, examples. Very well done. Should have you up and running in no time at all. It's also a pretty simple game, so I can give you a good feel for how it works right now. So in Born to Serve, you're going to be taking control of a superhero. And the superhero is now going to be trying to work at the restaurant next door, trying to get the most tips. And if you're the person who gets the most tips, you will win the game and get the job. Each of these characters is also going to have 2 special abilities on the back. You're only going to be able to use one of those special abilities per round. So each character is going to have its own distinctive little flair there. So let's go over the components. Let's get into the gameplay. So first, component-wise, you're going to have tables set up, and these tables are going to be tables that you are waiting. They're going to have different amounts of tips on them. Green tips are regular customers, and you'll have an idea of how much those tips are going to be. You'll know exactly how much you're going to get. The yellow tips, on the other hand, are people you don't know, and they might be high tips, they might be low tips, or they might just be right-on tips. So this is a $9 tip, so that'd be a really good one to get right there. There's also other tables, but depending on how many players you're playing, you're only going to use a certain number of tables. Now, the bigger tables that have more people are also going to give you additional bonuses. So the 5-people tables are going to give you $2 plus whatever's down here. The 4-seater tables are going to give you $1 plus whatever's right there. At the beginning of the game, you're also going to set up a certain number of these characters right here. The chef, the busboy, washroom attendant, bartender, maitre d', owner, valet, and these are going to be typical worker placement things. During the scoring phase, you may score 1 table, even if it's not filled with service markers. Immediately place the plus $3 marker on any table. Return the $3 marker to the hostess at the end of the scoring phase. So it's going to make 1 table more valuable, but only 1 round. Immediately place a plus 2 marker on a table that does not already have a plus 2 marker on it. During the scoring phase, you may score 1 table that you didn't win. Return a service marker from the Phantom Realm to your Fortress of Loneliness. So there's going to be a couple different special abilities that you'll have out there, different worker spots that you will have out there. Next, let's talk about your Fortress of Loneliness. This is where you're going to be putting your little pieces when they're waiting to be utilized. So at the beginning of each round, you're always going to get 5 of these pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of them is going to be flipped to the plus 1. You'll be able to utilize this to add to the value of a table. So you put these out here, and then they're going to give you extra money for a particular table. So on your turn, what are you going to do? Well, it's really pretty simple. You're going to take one of your pieces, and you're either going to place it onto a table, or you're going to place it onto a worker out here. So we'll just set up, 4 of them, just for this particular example. So you know what? I'm really liking this. You know what? I'm going to go wild card. I'm going to go right there. So I'd place my piece right there, and that would be the end of my turn. And then somebody else might come up, and they might place their piece right there. Boom. And so now this table, instead of being worth $5, $6, it's going to be worth $7. Now, this is an area control aspect to the game. So the person that has the most of their tokens at the table is going to get that amount of money. Now, they also can potentially earn up to double that with more tokens on there. So let's just say that this table played out like this, and then, I don't know, this happened over here, and I was right here. So let's just say that everybody's done scored. Everybody's placed out all their pieces, and now it's the end of the round. Because once everyone has placed out all their pieces, the round is over, and you go to the scoring phase. You're only going to score tables that have been completely filled up, like this one right here, unless, of course, you utilize a card that supersedes that. So this table is going to score. So what we do is we look at the value of it, and it's $9, and I'm super happy right now. So first, this guy is immediately going to get me 9 points, but he's going to go to the Phantom Realm, which means he is completely out of the game. He's done. He's done for the rest of the game, unless, of course, I take him out with the Washroom Attendant or have a special ability that I can utilize to do that. So I also now have the option to score 9 points for this guy and knock him into the Phantom Realm. And this is where the game has some interesting choices, because you have to choose between getting the victory points, aka the money, or your tokens. And as you progress through the game, you're going to slowly start running out of tokens. The game is going to end once you get through all the lunch cards, and then you get through all the dinner cards. And once you have no more dinner tip cards to put out, you'll play one more round and then tally up the score. Whoever has the most highest score will win. So this right now is $9. I would definitely probably take that. So I would move up 18 points on the point tracker up here. Now, anyone else at that table is also going to score half of the points rounded down. So this person right now would score 4 points, and they would not have to put this into the Phantom Realm. It goes back into their Fortress of Loneliness, which means they'll get it back on the next turn, which is really kind of nice as well. This card gets replaced. You put the new card here, which in this case would be a $6 lunch, and then you're going to rinse, wash, and repeat, passing the first player card to the left. Now, a couple other housekeeping things. You do address all of these right here. Everybody's also going to have one of these icon guides that you'll be able to see, which will tell you when to utilize your special abilities. Because as I mentioned, each character is going to have 2 special abilities, and this will tell you the phase in which you should use it. But that's it. You're going to continue to do that. Once you get to the dinner cards, you will be making larger tips. So $7, $10, $10. I think there's one that goes all the way up to $12, which could be pretty huge. But you're going to rinse, wash, and repeat, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game will be the winner of Born to Serve. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game's played. Alrighty then, Born to Serve, coming to a Kickstarter near you very, very soon. I'll be sure to post that Kickstarter link down below. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, 2 to 5 players, great player count. I liked it best at the higher player counts, 3, 4, and 5. 2 players, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of area control games at 2 players. I just like more conflict, more interaction. And at 2 players, you're not going to get that. So that is very much a personal thing there. If you do like area control games at the low player counts, then I would disregard that concern right there. Another con that I have of the game is that I do worry about the balance of the superheroes. It feels like some are slightly better than others. And I feel like they're all useful. And I do like the fact that they both have 2 special abilities, so you're going to be able to use them in different situations. But some of them are just like, oh yeah, that's what I want. I'm always going to use that special ability. It's such a super special ability. And then I think his other special ability was really good as well, too. I did run into that, where somebody played a particular superhero twice, and both times that person was like, wow, these special abilities are spectacular. And everybody else is like, wow, those special abilities are spectacular. I didn't feel like it was a game breaker, but it is something that I did want to mention. And also, there is an optional variant where you play without the superhero special abilities, but I wouldn't want to do that. I didn't try it, but honestly, I really like the fact that you have these special abilities that you can use. Continuing on with the cons, the game is somewhat repetitive. You're going to be doing the same thing over and over again. It's just a very simple worker placement game at its core, where it's like, all right, I'm going to take my piece, put it there, and if it's a table, I'm not going to do anything. If it's an action, I'm probably not going to do anything either until later on in the round. But it goes by snappy, which is good, but it is somewhat repetitive because you're going to do it over and over again. Now, there is a variant that you play with that's just the dinner cards that I might recommend. I think that would definitely shorten down the game. But I kind of like the long game. I'll talk more about it in the pros. I'm going to tell you that I really enjoy this game in the end, but it is something that I did want to mention. Also on the con side, you know, there's a lot of superheroes in this game, which I really like, but I wish there were more of the people that waited the worker placement spots, like the maitre d' and the owner. I wish there were more of those cards, because there's enough that you're not going to be playing with them all each and every time, but I feel like more variety with those cards could spice up the game, and I feel like that's definitely something that they should look into in the future, is adding more of those cards that do a lot of different diverse things, because I think it really could add an extra layer to the game, which would be great. Any other cons that I have with the game? No, Not really. Moving on to the pros, I thought Born to Serve was a really good game. I really enjoyed this game, and there's quite a few people who I think might be interested in this game. So first and foremost, it is on the lighter side. That's another comment I have to mention. This is on the lighter side. Now, it does have some interesting choices in there, which I like. I like the balancing of, do I want the money or do I want my characters, because getting them out of the the Phantom Realm is difficult to do, and there'll be times where it's like, man, I'm making $11 on this guy, so I definitely am going to take the money right now, but it might come back to bite you. And we actually had, every time we played this, there was at least one person who wasn't able to fully restock the very last round because it was, I want this money now. And so I think that's really interesting. I also like the dynamic of trying to get in on valuable tables without winning the tables. And sometimes you'll see that where people are just putting things on the tables just to get half of it. And that's a perfectly viable strategy. And I feel like both those strategies are good. I also really like the artwork in the game. I think the artwork's very well done. I like the superhero theme. It's a little bit of an oddball theme where you're trying to work for a restaurant, but it works. I do like the theme. I love the special abilities, and I love the fact that you have not one, but 2 special abilities. And I love games that are like, hey, here's your special ability. Use it. Don't save it. There's no point in saving it, because we love special abilities. We love having special abilities. So I hate when games are like, oh, but here you can get 2 extra victory points if you don't use it. It's like, no, I want to use it. This game encourages using it, and I like the fact you get 2. So it does give you a little bit more flexibility. I really did enjoy that. Some other cons that I have, which hopefully are just prototype cons that I did forget to mention, is the text on the cards is really, 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 really small. So I hope they make this text a lot bigger when it comes to the final version of the game. Because we did have to, especially at the beginning of the game, where it was just people were like, all right, we're just going to pass these around so you can see the special abilities because the text was so small. But continuing on to the cons, I like this at 5 players a lot. I liked it at 4 players a lot. Definitely a game that I think if you're still on the lighter side of games, one you might want to check out. I think this is a nice step up toward the games from like your Ticket to Ride. I put it at like a small world-esque level when it comes to gameplay complexity, which is definitely going to be a lot of people's cup of tea. It plays about an hour. I'd say that's about correct. I think your second or third game, you can probably knock this out in about 40 to 50 minutes, which is a good time length. And in the end, I really enjoyed Born to Serve. I think it's a good game. I think it's a very good game. And it is one that I can recommend you check out if you're in the market for a lighter weight worker placement / area control game with some cool special abilities. A very straightforward game, easy to learn, easy to teach, well done rules, like the artwork. That is Born to Serve. I'm excited to see what the final version of this one looks like. But for now, definitely can recommend it. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. When's the last time you went to work feeling like you probably shouldn't be there? For me personally, I feel very fine right now, but as you can tell, my voice is definitely crock in my throat. That's because I was at a football game, a very intense football game that came down to like the last play of the game, and so I was screaming nonstop. And this is 3 days after that, but still, soldier on. Do it. But let me know in the comments below. When's the last time you went to work where you're like, I probably shouldn't be doing this right now? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.